This is Mystic and Match.
Madge,
Yeah, hi.
hi.
How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Awesome. So I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that is joining us and listening to us at this moment. We are so grateful for your time, especially in the midst of this crazy global pandemic. But we definitely have things to say. So I know that, Madge, we were talking a little bit before the show. We were talking about food. Take it away.
Yeah, so I was online looking at, for home deliveries for food, and obviously that's now been slowed down. You're having to wait longer for that. And then I went to the store to try and find yeast because I wanted to make some bread, and
Mhm.
there's no yeast anywhere. And I guess people are planning for, for Armageddon. So they're collecting things like yeast and buying that out and obviously bottled
Yeast.
water. hmm
Yeast.
Yeah,
So
yeast, which
they're
you can
hoarding yeast.
they're
First it
hoarding
was toilet paper and now it's yeast.
now
Okay,
it's
go ahead.
yeast.
This is
And you can only make so much bread, like just take it easy.
right.
But and you can actually make your own yeast culture from actual flour if you have flour. You can make your own by letting it sit there for 2 weeks, but I'm not doing that. But
Yeah, that's
just
that sounds a bit too much, even for a global pandemic. I mean, it's a
yeah,
little too
exactly.
much, but
Just a
oh
bit.
my goodness. So I haven't gone to my local grocery store yet, but right now my roommate is, so I'm so grateful for him. But yeah, we didn't have water for a while, and you know, not to mention the effing toilet paper, which is crazy. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see what he comes back with and see if
Right. I hope he comes back with what you need, and they should really start enforcing. They should have started enforcing the limitations, like one per person, one packet per person, or two per person, or depending on your household size, like they've been doing in Europe and Italy.
yeah, they
They should have
have.
enforced that. Yeah, they
Yeah,
didn't
they
do that
started
here,
doing
and everybody went buck wild.
because we are used to hoarding. Is that what you're saying? I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
yeah,
Oh, that's disgusting, right?
true.
But you were talking about something that really just intrigued me and left me somewhat astounded. You were talking about seeds, and it's springtime and it's time to start planting.
Right. So every year, we just have a small balcony, so normally I'll do flowers and no food because there's no room for all that.
Hmm.
And, this year I'm like, maybe I'll grow some vegetables. Can't find a seed anywhere. So, I'm looking online and trying to find seeds, and they're all sold out. And some of the best companies that are out there, the heirloom, the organic stuff, those companies
Right.
that sell those seeds are posting like on their homepage that they're way backlogged. They're not sold out. They just can't process orders fast enough. So you're 2, 3 weeks backlogged to get your seeds, and by then I would have already needed to have my seedlings started because it's going to be
Wow.
warm here in mid-April, and then you want to get them, at least get them started. So it's like, forget about it. But yeah, people
Wow.
are jumping on this, not how it normally is. So people are jumping on the fact that they think there's not going to be a food supply. So they want to grow food on their own.
Right.
Um,
And the chickens, like we were talking about the chickens and people growing,
right.
having their own eggs. And it's not just a United States phenomena. I want to be clear. This is a global phenomena. So people literally are growing food everywhere, and
Correct.
teaching each other how to do it on Facebook and
Right.
Instagram.
Yeah,
So
helping each other out and trying to give suggestions as to how to do things. Like if you're growing chickens, you got to keep them warm. They have to be at a steady temperature. Like
the coop.
everybody thinks. Oh, go ahead. You were saying.
No, the coop. I'm just adding to what you're saying
Yeah.
because, the bee farming, that's going to be huge pretty soon because we're getting to that, right? Because
Right.
it's a four-season environment as opposed
Right.
to, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but I have several places where I can grow, like
Yeah, you
all over
do.
essentially my
Mhm.
home. And I wasn't even thinking about growing because usually I just go to my local Home Depot and get whatever I need, or the local
Uh-huh.
Walmart or whatever. But now I can't really do that.
Right. Right. And I bet if you like we wouldn't want to order anything now. It would be about mid-April where you'd want to
Hmm.
start ordering your stuff because that's when
Right.
it's going to warm up here to the 50s and 60s. But by then, I guarantee you everything's probably going to sell out. It's like people are really going to run on it and grab probably more than they need, and uh, it's unfortunate. But you have beautiful balconies, multiple balconies on the roof. You could do amazing things there with gardening.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And I've always done that every year.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
every
but I
year.
mean, but like food, like
Yeah,
actual grow
yeah, of
food. Yeah.
course.
Hmm.
That's definitely something I was thinking about. And one of the things that I was thinking about when I heard you speaking was I better start saving my seeds. Like my seeds, my personal seeds when I'm eating, you know,
Right.
I just got to start saving the seeds and that's it, and start thinking about what I'm going to grow. And there's the vertical, of course, the vertical internal. You can start growing things inside too. Um,
Right.
the hydroponic. Mm-hmm.
With yeah, if you have the proper lighting inside and and paying attention not just to seeds, like keep your cucumber seeds or keep your, if there's seeds in them, because remember Monsanto makes things, they make the farmers
Do
grow
we
with
have to go there? Shit.
seed free. Yeah.
Shit.
Well, no,
Oh,
they were persecuting. It's a true. Everybody's probably seen the documentary by now, documentaries. But I mean, yeah, they basically are growing food without seeds in that are so we can't save the
right.
seeds. I don't know how to say this. I'm not speaking the English. So basically, a cucumber with no seeds or a watermelon with no seeds. So those are things being mass produced so that nobody can save the seeds. So you can't grow it yourself. You're relying on them.
Not the organic
Um,
ones. The organic
yeah,
ones, you can get the
exactly.
seeds. Yeah.
Right. Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm coughing. But yeah, absolutely. It's a scary thing right now. So like if you go to the Seed Savers website, they're one of the places I was talking about that are sold out. They're you could try to order, but everything's back ordered and backlogged. So yeah. Um,
So it's time to save the seeds. So, I have
yeah,
a really, really good friend of mine. His name is Matthew, and I'd like to invite him because he is an expert grower. And one of the things that we used to do is every springtime, he would invite all his friends. We'd have literally a garden party, and we would sit there and start sowing the land that he was growing on so we could all grow our respective plants. And then we would go and harvest and have another party. Of course, that's gone now. So that's we're not going to be able to do that. But he has some really good tips, and I'd love to have him on the show, talking to everybody about growing their own food indoors now. Because really, at
right.
this point, we don't know what's going to happen. We really don't.
No, we don't.
I mean, they're talking about the possibility of in the United States to extend it till the end of April, this lockdown, but we don't know. Some people are saying July. I'm like, holy mother.
Yeah. I initially heard July and I went with that and I stick with that. I think it's going to be July.
Yeah, July. I mean, if
That's
it's
insane.
July, again, there's going to be a huge division. There's not going to be a middle class. It's going to be the very, very poor and the very, very wealthy. And the dynamics of that are even going to shift somewhat because at this moment in time, we are all on the same page, except for the governments. That's it. Everybody.
Right.
I'm talking about,
Everybody's equal.
yeah, everyone's equal. So
Mm.
can we remember that?
I remember that when times are different.
Right. Can we remember that
Right.
we are all equal right now and we have to lean on each other, even if we're doing it digitally? If we're doing
Right.
it, over the radio, even, I mean, we have all of Hollywood is shut down. There's no entertainment that's being made right now.
And people take that for granted. They're like, oh, that's going to entertain us. Oh, yeah. Well, when there's no actors and nobody making anything new for a year or so, you better start getting used to old movies. because people take that for granted. I mean, I'm thinking of it from the most shallow perspective. Obviously, it affects an entire industry, and they're all out of work, and it's very sad, and it's affecting the economy. Entire state of California, besides farming, is obviously entertainment. Their entire economy is affected, so it's very, very bad.
On a massive level, on a massive,
Yeah.
massive. And then, one of the things that I continuously see is, and of course my heart goes out to everyone in this position. And I have tears in my eyes, but all of the homeless, all of the individuals that are homeless and
Oh, it breaks my heart.
yeah, in California had it
Mm,
has this issue the most because of the
right.
warmth of the temperature. The water's right there, and there's a mass exodus of people just moving to California in regards to the homeless population. So my heart goes out to them and all the homeless all over the world, all over the world.
Absolutely. Well, you could take a moment just to pray for them. Everybody can, because it's very, very bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and the homeless population comes in all ages, whether it has to do with lack of homes, being impoverished, mental illness, which is the
The
predominant
majority.
factor.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the
Right.
predominant factor.
And people forget that.
Right, right. And then I I had a friend. I cannot mention who, obviously, but it was
Yeah.
crazy, Madge, because the other day I got a phone call from a friend, and he's really huge into guns. I'm not. I'm the antithesis of that. But he said, they're gonna start making sure that the population inside the jails, that the crazy offenders have to stay, but other people for petty crimes and whatnot are. He was asking me if I needed to pack, and I started laughing. And again,
Tell them I do. I have my flight card, and I do. I actually, I'm one of those people that would like one because I'm afraid.
well, I'll ask because he has a limited amount.
Yeah.
But I did ask one of my roommates if he would take care of that, and he said, yeah, he's definitely gonna, and I trust him. So,
Yeah.
I don't like having it in the house because I feel like that energy just, pulls that towards you. But under these conditions, I think it's important to have some type of protection.
I would agree. And I know my boyfriend is against that. Same like you. He's a pacifist.
Oh,
But
wait, I'm not a pacifist. Hold on. Hold
but
on.
he doesn't want a gun in the house either. But I think it wouldn't hurt. um, and they say you're more likely to shoot yourself with it. I don't know if that's true.
Or
But
shoot a loved one, really, somebody within the
yeah,
household, which is
right.
one of the primary reasons why I said absolutely not. But, I keep thinking about it. And now that my roommate said yes, I told them, just think about it and let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean the store is right there. I'm not going to say what city we're in, but there's a store not far from the city suburbs. It's a suburb next to the city that is open and selling. So, legitimately. I mean, I have my FOID card. I could legitimately own.
No, no, no.
And
If it's in the state that I think you're thinking of, it no. The governor enacted a law that the sales of arms are not allowed, and they're not acceptable. However, not too far, if you go over the border, it's still available, and we could talk about that. I'll share some of that information with you. Yeah,
okay.
after the podcast. But I was also interestingly listening to this woman. Her name is I believe her name is Alex Clark. And she was talking about working on a radio show, and it was all pop, whatnot. But she was talking about the liberal agenda and how Democrats have always literally purchased all these different ads on these pop radio shows, and not one liberal has, and I can't remember how many years. And I thought that was really interesting because for the most part, people do have, if they really look at the left, it's like really far left now. That's how I feel. I feel like it's really far left. And you were talking about Bernie last night.
Yeah, yeah, I was. Um, I get frustrated as most people when I hear any politicians talk because they've had all these years to do something about healthcare in particular, um, and they haven't done anything about it. And forget about what's going on with, let's just take coronavirus off the
Mm-hmm.
table for now. Just the experiences, my personal experience with having been at every end of the financial spectrum you can imagine in my life. Uh, and I can say working for a corporation, having to pay insurance premiums that were high, and then getting sick, needing surgery, a major surgery, and coming out of that still having to pay out of my pocket a large sum of money. Unbelievable that that's still the case. So even when you're trying really hard and you're working and you're doing your thing, and you could still get stuck with medical bills that force you to file bankruptcy. And to me, that's disgusting.
It's it's
That
it's
should not be.
unnecessary and unacceptable in this country. We're supposed to be the
Absolutely.
wealthiest country in the world, but yet we cannot have proper health care for everybody. Everybody equally. Yeah.
Everybody, no matter who you are. Because, like I said, if you're very poor, you have Medicaid. If you're very wealthy, you're on your own. Good luck. If you're in the middle, we're getting screwed. And that's all there is to it. And I have fallen at the bottom end, the middle end, and the upper end, never wealthy, but doing well. And I at all three of those to me sucked. it, it's the country's wealthy for a reason. It's because they don't help, and it is on the backs of the poor in many respects. Like we are the ones that get up every day and are going to go to a job and work. And it's been like this for hundreds of years, thousands of years, right? It's always on the backs of somebody.
Well, the backs of the middle
But in
class,
the
I
end,
agree with you, in this country at this
mm-hmm,
time, or the time we were in, because again, if this
yeah.
continues until July, there's going to be a
Ugh.
clear distinction between the impoverished and the wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see there being a middle class. I just don't see it. I'd be shocked. There's a couple laws apparently and supposedly that are being enacted regarding petrol um, being illegal. I was in shock. Yeah, yeah,
What do
yeah,
you
yeah. But
mean?
that could be, that could be a conspiracy theory. But that's what's been said. It's been on the floating around. It's been floating around, and definitely not on the fake news, because we all know what fake news is now. I mean, we all know.
Yeah.
We're at least that much awakened, all over the world. But in regards to healthcare and education, like let's be real, healthcare and education should be, you know, good education for everyone
Right.
and great
Yeah.
uh, healthcare for everyone. But here's something interesting. So I went to school in a different country for a couple years, and when I was in high school, um, that particular country, it's quote unquote a third world country. I was blessed enough to go to the top school at the
Mm-hmm.
time, and during that time, I broke a leg. I was I was dirt bike riding. I was
Aw,
dirt bike riding and I broke my leg and
of course you were
something
dirt
crazy.
bike
Yeah.
riding.
So, so anyway, to make a long story short, my parents took me to the hospital, and in this particular country, it's healthcare for everyone. But what was interesting is that instead of waiting in line, my dad simply paid under the table X amount of money, and I got a bed right away. And I got taken care of right
Yeah,
away. So I just wanted to share that in this instance because that's not what we want in this country. That's not what we are
right.
demanding in this country. And we have every right to demand it because guess what? We are paying all the people in the government to be there. We are doing that. We as a people.
I know people forget that.
Don't
Yeah,
get me started, girl.
yeah. But people forget that. People forget that we as a people are much more powerful than those doofuses in politics. So I just think that it's a matter of coming together, and like you said, when people are brought together in a way that they are forced to be together, maybe things will change. Maybe we'll stop seeing race, creed, religion. You go to this church, I go to that church, I'm better than you. You're Muslim, I'm
I
whatever.
drive this car, I have these
This
shoes,
is
this
not,
bag, all this.
yeah.
Yes.
And then it's I get it. People want their identity. It's nice to have nice clothes. It's cool. It's great. That's cool. But not at the price of like judging others for what they're wearing or what they're doing. Um,
No, and not at the
and that,
price and
yeah,
expense of children or these laborers who are working in
right,
these sweatshops. My grandma, for
right.
example, God rest her soul and God bless her, she worked at a sweatshop in New York. Yeah. Yeah, she worked at a
Yeah,
sweatshop in New York, and she would sew. That's what she did. And that's not I don't see that's the world that we are hoping to step into once we come out of this.
right, right. We don't want to go backwards,
Yeah, we want to go forwards.
but it's unfortunate. We want to go forward and better.
So
Oh
they're
boy.
separating us, right?
Yeah,
So it was separating us. They're talking about like, okay, 6 feet, right? Whatever. Soon it's going to be 10 feet. God knows what, right? But then we're trying to connect or
right,
trying to see how we can connect, right? Through social
right.
media,
Absolutely.
through the phone. Um, but, that separation is temporary. And are we going to go back to the same? No, no, no. It's got to be 1,000 times better. And I hope that listening to this podcast, people wake up and reach out to either one of us. Send a
Absolutely.
message.
And that they,
So
what's that?
anyone can send a message to us, over Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So whoever has questions,
And
they can send us questions. We could address those.
absolutely. And on the topic of healthcare, um, one important thing you said, even in countries where medical care was free or is free in Europe, in places like Ireland and parts of Italy, and even Greece, there are cases where the doctors, that same story
Mm-hmm.
happens. And, there are different ways of handling care, care being, caretaking is handled a little differently in certain parts than others. Free doesn't necessarily mean better, doesn't necessarily mean you're getting the best health care. Um, you know, but you are getting health care. And when all of the resources are pulled together and the hospitals are all working together because they're forced to, and you don't get different treatment in one city versus another. For example, me, I was lucky I got sick in a rich suburb because I happened to be working in that suburb at the time. Because if I got sick anywhere else, I would have ended up with a different procedure because that particular hospital offered us a service that the other hospitals did not, period. And they only performed that surgery there. And they were able to do it quickly. Within 2 days, I was done. and they saved my
Wow.
life. I can't say if I went to a Chicago, you and I have sat in emergency rooms in Chicago, and I can't say even if they brought me in an ambulance, as I did go in an ambulance, that I would have been cared for right away, that I would have had the kind of care that I got there. So absolutely, we're not equal with care. Care is not equal everywhere, and that makes
Yeah,
me sad.
when I was in that city, yes, absolutely. I mean, Boulder's is completely different. Like I said, it's just a completely different type of atmosphere,
Absolutely.
people, you know. I don't know, the healthcare in Boulder is really different. I would say that in a bigger city, you have options and you have the top echelon, like you just described, to the bottom of the barrel. And so I like that. But, in Boulder, you pretty much have just one, one hospital, so it's really
Yeah.
interesting, really, really interesting. But yeah, the animals are coming out and they're reclaiming, the cougars are coming out. I mean,
Hmm.
I just keep, keep, keep laughing throughout all of this. Uh,
Yeah.
so
And the air smells better in the city I'm
pardon me.
in. The air smells better in the city that I'm in. I went to stand on my balcony, and just from not having traffic from the expressway, because I'm right off the expressway, the air smells better.
Wow.
So that's
You
one
can,
positive.
you can tell. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I just noticed it this morning. I hadn't noticed prior.
Well, you want to hear something interesting is how
So,
they used to do all these cover up the sun or whatever they were doing and with the airplanes.
oh, right, the tracing,
Right.
the what
Yeah,
do you call that?
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
essentially, it's interesting because I was looking at the clear blue sky, right? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, I heard a plane, which I hadn't heard a plane flying at any point. I did hear a helicopter and I looked up because the helicopter was really low and it was really weird. And I've heard several. And they looked like those big heavy helicopters, like almost yeah, like army helicopters, like big black ones
Right.
too. But this time it
Hmm.
was a plane, I could tell, and they crisscrossed the sky and I was shocked to see the difference because it's like night and day, literally.
Yeah.
And then a couple hours later, guess what? It started raining. I was like, wait, we're not supposed to really have
Hmm.
rain and it's raining. What's going on? So anyway, if somebody tells me that that's not true, I'd laugh because we all know now that's what's being done to the sky. So they're spraying the
Yeah.
skies, spraying the earth, spraying the tree. Like they're spraying everything, and they're spraying us. Pretty soon, what are we gonna eat? If everything has Roundup, and then you're telling me that
Right.
the bovine and all the meat sources and the protein and what they're growing has coronavirus on, and then that they need, the same type of antibiotics or shots or vaccines. Right.
As
So,
humans. Yeah.
pretty soon we're
Yeah.
not going to be able to eat anything. I mean, our water was fucked.
Right. Well, you're
I'm
saving your
sorry.
seeds. And even if you don't have seeds, even if you don't have seeds, you can actually grow vegetables out of existing vegetables. So scallions, lettuce, obviously you've seen onions grow out of
Pineapple's one of them.
themselves.
Yep.
Pineapple's one of the things you can grow out. It takes a while. It's
But
kind of a
still,
pain, but just amuse yourself and try it,
avocados still have
at
seeds,
home and
mangoes.
right. But the things that
Hmm.
don't have seeds, if you don't have a seed, I'm saying, or you can actually
Right,
grow it out of
right,
itself.
right, right. It's interesting. A couple years ago, I started saving seeds, which is weird. It was just instinctual. You know how I am,
Well,
Matt.
can I
You know
have
how I
some?
am. I just some weird thing happens in my body, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should save this. I don't know. It was really. I remember thinking to myself, what the heck am I doing? why am I saving the seed?
Right.
This is really weird. But yeah, we'll talk about it. But yeah, this has been an interesting show, to say the least. Again, thank you so much, Madge, to you for, yeah, of
Thank
course,
you.
for doing this with me. I'm so grateful, and thank you for all the listeners. And we send you safety, we send you love, and we send you a prayer of blessings. May you always be well and healthy. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for listening. Stay safe, subscribe, and review. We will come at you with many more topics, and remember, united we stand.